Why is silver set to outperform gold? Some are saying as much as 9x in 2025. Can you imagine? Okay, so let's dive into it. So is your silver, do you have silver at home? Maybe you've got silver at home, for example, or do you feel that silver is going to skyrocket? Now, some of you do have coins, and congratulations, well done to you, because you've really started and you're starting to save your coins. As well as some of you have got bars, for example, gold. You've got silver bars, for example. So is silver about to skyrocket? Why do you think that these central banks are hoarding gold at record levels? I'm talking about tons here. And what does that actually mean? Because they're making massive withdrawals from London vaults, for example, going straight to New York. Or what does this mean for investors? So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about looking at the current state of gold and silver markets. So if you're looking for insights on precious metals, for example, or where it's heading, for example, then this is how you can learn how to protect your investments, for example. And I'm referring to gold, physical gold and silver in your hand, for example, because I class that as a solid investment right now. So gold and silver trends. So what's happening now? We're seeing it, we're hearing it a lot about gold and silver, Fort Knox, vaults, countries getting their gold back, people buying coins and gold bars, for example. What is this all about? Why are people doing that? It's because of the recession, the inflation. Now listen, we have gone through not we. Recessions have been around for a long time. I've been through 3 recessions in my lifetime, actually 4 now in my lifetime. So they say that recessions come around every 5 to 7 years, for example. And I believe that's true because I've seen it in my own personal and business life, for example. But if you had gold resilience in economic uncertainty, wow, you would be unstoppable. So gold does continue to prove itself as a safe haven. And this is really a good asset to have. And I'm not talking about the stock markets. I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, because I do not have a clue about that. I'm not here giving financial advice either, or stock market investments advice, for example. But what I do know is from what I'm listening to, but also from what I have done in 2007, for example. And by looking at this, you can actually overcome inflation. And the risk, the monetary risk, really shifts in a way that is secure for you, for example. So listen, central banks worldwide, for example, there's China, there's Russia, they're increasing their gold mines. New York, for example, UK, America, everyone's trying to do this right now. So this is signaling that there is growing confidence in gold as a hedge against currency devaluation. Look, we're seeing the pound go down, right? You look at the stock markets, things are going down. Stocks are going down. And they're seeing it that the gold and the silver is the safe bet. And the silver is actually becoming the dark horse that you would not expect to win that race, for example. So it could be that silver is going to overtake gold. So silver's dual role, okay? It's industrial and it's also an investment demand. So industrial wise, it is to do with manufacturing, it is to do with renewable energy, it's to do with electronics, it's to do with tech, it's to do with green economy, for example. Whereas silver can also be used for investing. Silver at the moment is at $35 per ounce, for example. So silver's potential for long-term growth, especially as supply tightens, it really is amazing, and I'm super excited. So the recent London Vault silver drainage, they call it, because they took the bars, the gold bars, for example, and withdrew the gold bars. So it was like tons and tons were withdrawn. And this also raised concerns about the future availability and pricing, because when the demand is hard to get, that makes the price go up. So apparently silver is easy to get, but really the manufacturing of silver mines, there's not many of them around, and it is going to run out soon if they can't find it anymore, for example. So think about it. Why would big organizations, wealthy corporations, government organizations, for example, why would they be at such a rush to buy gold? As we all know, tariffs are being put on countries around the world, and it's making it a bit unstable. It's making it, you don't know what's happening. It's like a yo-yo type of effect. But the London Vault silver drain is a key here. So one of the largest withdrawals in history signals a tightening of supplies. So this could actually mean that the rise is on demand and it outspaces availability. So think of choosing physical silver over the ETFs or paper silver. Having it in your hand or where you can see it, where it's easy accessible, is the best place to have it. Some have home vaults, for example. Some have them stored somewhere else in a bank, for example, which is local to them, for example, where they haven't got far to go, because sometimes you don't want to keep it at home, depending on whether it's silver and gold, for example. So could we be seeing a silver sequence similar to 2021? So some analysts, they do believe that this is possible. So how are the central banks reshaping this precious metal market? Central banks are moving away from fiat currency reliance, making gold a primary reserve asset. China are accumulating gold, while European banks are facing some withdrawal concerns in gold trading, for example. So the London bullion market, known as the LBMA, which is short for the London Bullion Market Association, may soon face some regulatory changes due to the increased demand for physical gold. So what does that mean for investors? Gold may see a substantial upward trend. And this will be the same with silver, because gold is also pulling silver along as well. Precious metals. So there is a retail shortage, for example, of higher premium and inventory shortages. So wholesalers, resellers struggle to maintain inventory as central banks and institutions' purchases rise. So rising premiums make it harder for everyday investors to buy gold and silver at a reasonable price. And this is why I'm doing this video today, is to make you aware that, you know, these big organization and government organization, they're trying to take as much gold as possible, as much silver as possible, for example. Yeah? Buy both. Buy both if you can. But if you can't, then buy silver, because it is going to go up in value. And I'm not saying this it's going to go up instantly. You know, look at it as a long-term project, say 10 years time, for example. But you could even look at it even sooner if you need to dip into it. Use it as a safety net, or to give to a loved one or family member, for example. So, like I said, there's rise in premiums. So it's making it harder for everyday investors to buy gold and silver at a reasonable price. Now, for a quarter of an ounce, like a gold coin, for example, it can be like $800, for example, for a gold coin. Whereas the silver ounce is about $35. But yet this could end up being 9x than what it is. So that's why I'm doing these videos, to try and get you to buy them as early as you possibly can. Because remember, or maybe you don't remember, last year I talked about, in September, I said that we need to start building a crisis fund and start putting money to one side for, in the eventuality we get hit with inflation. I was trying to create strategies to help you to beat the inflation. Well, this is one way of beating inflation, and that is by getting gold and silver. Imagine that you're saving, you're buying these gold coins monthly, for example, and then you can turn them, you can even buy gold bars, for example. And imagine years later that it actually is worth, say, something like 10 times of what you've paid for. That's a good investment, right? So think about the shift in consumer behavior. Investors are looking for silver bars and alternative bullion as traditional coins become scarce. So think about what type of gold and silver that you want to purchase and turn into a coin or into a gold bar or silver bar. The reason why I say this is because you can do like where you start a gold and silver business where you buy scrap gold. And this is one of the things that I'm offering is a masterclass, a boot camp on how to buy scrap gold, how to hold scrap gold, scrap silver parties. If you can't afford to purchase right now, or possibly it's becoming scarce, then look, you can actually create a